Good. Okay, so hello everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here today and to see all of you to celebrate Emmanuel. And thanks to the previous speakers who gave a very nice introduction to what I'm going to say. So here I will start. We proceeded a bit in a chronological order, and now I will more or less, and I will talk about what happened since I started my PhD with Emmanuel and Philippe in 2001. And today I'm still working with Emmanuel. We're still collaborating, and it's I think it's a bit like an adventure, l'aventure Descartes, hence my title. It's a quest. We are looking for something. We don't know what we are looking, but it's what is nice, you know, this moral that it's not the destination which is nice. It's the path to go there which is interesting. So that's the motto of my talk. And I will start with this photo. Which was the conclusion of my talk one year ago, because last year we also celebrated the 60th birthday of Philippe, and this picture has been taken at my PhD defense in 2005. It was just on the other side of this building, and with my two advisors, Emmanuel and Philippe. And this was the conclusion of my talk with Philippe, but maybe actually this is more or less the beginning of the story with Emmanuel. Okay, it was not the complete beginning. It was, we already, during my PhD, we had 9 papers together. But you will see that we have still a lot of things to do in this story. But maybe I will do a little, let's go backwards in time, and this is already mentioned by Philippe. The story, I would say my story, the story about Carte, the story of maps. One of its roots is this paper by Philippe, Emmanuel, and Charlotte. Actually, there are several of them, and Philippe showed them. I think it's fair to say that it started the realization that there is indeed serious combinatorics to be looked at in problems of 2D quantum gravity. So 2D quantum gravity, I don't define it too much, but it's a way to, the purpose is to consider a measure, define an interesting measure of random surfaces, and the first approach you have is to discretize. So you consider discrete surfaces that are formed by gluing polygons together, and there are several tools to do that. But here, Emmanuel, Philippe, and Charlotte were looking at a specific kind of maps, which are called the causal maps, or causal quadrangulation. And by analyzing the problem, etc., they found that there is a connection with what I can call combinatorial theory. And that was, in particular, the work of Xavier Viennot on the theory of heaps. And for people, okay, maybe I should do an apart. Some people don't take combinatorics very seriously. They think, oh, you say it's just combinatorics with a dismissive tone, something is in. No, combinatorics is a theory. It's a theory, like a string theory, etc. There are methods, general things, etc. No, but it deserves this name. I mean, let's be serious. I refer to you, look at the webpage of Igor Pak. Igor Pak has a list of quotes by people who talk about badly about combinatorics, and he's trying to fight against that. And I think he's right. He's right. And here it's really applications of real combinatorial tool to quantum gravity. Actually, let me now go to my first paper with Emmanuel and Philippe. Okay, we did the breaks. Okay, we used still for this first paper. We still use the old-fashioned tools, the matrix models, the black box of physicists, magic tool, etc. We do not really understanding what's going on at the detail. It's just a technique that works. But still, what I really liked in this first paper, and there is already an insight of Emmanuel, we were looking at problems of, okay, now we call them decorated planar maps. So that is, you can think in physics term about quantum gravity coupled to statistical physics model, and in this context, the model was a model of hard particles, hard objects. And what was the insight? So when I arrived for my PhD thesis, I think Emmanuel and Philippe had already started this subject, and they were considering the model of hard particles on a map. And they solved it using a 4-matrix model and found, did some computation. And I remember very vividly one morning I came to the office and Emmanuel, and that's something that Philippe already mentioned, Emmanuel has the cleverness of coming up with nice combinatorial ideas. He said, what happens if we take the matrix chain, so there is this thing called the chain matrix model. For the art particle case, they had to use a 4-matrix chain. And for some reason, it had to be an even number. They say, what goes on if we look at the next case, which would be the 6-matrix chain model? And actually, it was a very nice, interesting, and he made a connection with physics, because there was a very nice interpretation of terms of particles. So that is, it was a model with particles which could, you would allow 2 particles to be there on the same site. And there was a very specific rule. And what was very interesting, let me not enter into details, is that with this way, we had a very rich phase diagram involving a tricky critical point, which was in the universality class of the tricritical Ising model. So for me, it was a great joy. And actually, as soon as Emmanuel came with this idea, I ran to my desk and did computation, and did the computation. I was very happy to be able to apply first time tools that I was first learning at the time, but applying on a real computation. And came with, doing the computation that Emmanuel told me to do. And I was very happy to do that and to see at the end we get this exact phase diagram from computation. So that was really one of the greatest joy of my life. I mean, to apply mathematical tools to solve a physics problem. And then, okay, this was the first paper, but then just a few months after, we had this revolution, which I mentioned already last year, and Philippe mentioned in this talk, which was the paper by Philippe Chassin and Gilles Schaeffer, which appeared on the archive, and where we learned about bijective approach to counting maps, etc. So this was their paper. We read it, and very quickly, we were working very intensely at the time. We revisited, and it has been mentioned by the previous talk, the result of 97 by Emmanuel, Philippe, and Bertrand, about quantum random triangulation, and we came up with a neat, they used a complicated approach, but we had very nice bijective proof. And just yesterday, Emmanuel sent me the email we exchanged with Gilles at the time, so we see we had old-fashioned email address. It would work, you could use the email address without a domain name, but it will still work, and that was there. But we established contact at this point. So we had a series of papers in my PhD, and it has been mentioned. So we did a series of papers on bijection between planar maps and trees. And the most successful one, which remains Emmanuel's most cited paper, and mine too, is the one which introduced what is now known as the BiJD bijection. So we start from a certain family of maps, that is these surfaces formed by gluing polygons. We are in the planar case. We do introduce a rule, and then we came to certain objects, which are trees actually, but we decided to call them mobiles by analogy with Cladder mobile. And I think it was not the deepest paper, but it was a very simple idea, but it proved useful. And what is it good for? What was it good for? It was actually, but it has been realized by Philippe Chassin and Gilles Schaeffer, that the point of this bijection, they are better than matrix model for the task of studying distances in random planar maps. And actually, yes, we came to this thing, and our contribution was this paper. Again, there was okay. What did you do? Okay. Maybe I have an idea. We were still young and not very good students of combinatorics. We call them planar graphs, but I would like to publish an erratum to this paper. The title should be "Distance in Planar Maps." And what did we do? We used the bijection. We used also some tricks of Philippe on integrability, and we were able to find an exact formula for counting quadrangulation with 2 points at a marked distance. And then taking some sort of continuous limit, we were able to prove a prediction that had been done by Jan Ambjorn and Watabiki about the so-called 2-point function of 2D quantum gravity. And it was, again, it was really a serious thing, but at the end, you get something that is a probability distribution. We go to the computation until the end, and we get a good to honest probability distribution. So out from a complicated computation, we get a result. And there was also a result, and Bertrand Hénard already mentioned in his talk, we had a conjecture formula in this paper. It was a guess, but we took us not the most general case, but the case which is written in the paper. With Emmanuel, 7 years later, we only came to a proof after that. And Sophia, in her talk tomorrow, we talk about an even recent proof that we found. Okay. That's the story about basically my PhD thesis. We continued with a few papers. After my PhD thesis, Philippe left us, he moved to different topics, but we didn't stay idle, and in particular, we had the visit of Mark Bowick for sabbatical, and this was the occasion where I wrote with Emmanuel our first only common paper, not about maps. Okay, one exception. It was about square diamond model, so maybe, I don't know if you will mention it in your talk, Mark, but I was very happy about this excursion in a different topic. But what happened also in 2007 is that we started, and it was Grégory Mirmont who is in the room, started a seminar on maps because it was a fashionable topic, gathering people from Orsay, that is probabilists, Saclay, theoretical physicist, and Palaiseau in Polytechnique, where there is Gilles Schaeffer, combinatorialist. And so we were on something that was interdisciplinary. We also had a fair number of young people like Guillaume Chapuis, Eric Fusy, Marie Albanque, Nicolas Curien was still a baby at the time, etc. But he showed up, I think, etc. Maybe I forget people, sorry about that. And it was really a source of inspiration because we exchanged ideas. And in particular, Grégory wrote a paper in 2000 year. We introduced yet another generalization of bijection, the so-called Corey-Vauquelin-Schaeffer bijection, but then he went out of a case of trees, he put correspondence with objects which looked a bit more complicated. So what Grégory had in mind, he wanted to do probabilistic applications, but what we were really interested about the applications to enumeration, and he wanted to get a nice enumerative result with Emmanuel, and that was really our discovery. This bijection is very useful. We made some tricks, and what we found is that we were able to solve the problem of a 3-point function of planar quadrangulation. So I mentioned before the 2-point function. You have a quadrangulation with 2 marked points, and you want to understand the lower distance between these 2 points. And now you suppose that you have three points, and so you have 3 distances, pairwise distances between the 2 points. So you have 3 parameters, and you want to get the generating function of maps with these prescribed distances. And actually, you see it fits on this slide, essentially. We have an exact formula, which was found using Grégory's bijection, a clever parametrization for the distances, etc. Okay, very nice result. And again, it's a serious result. You can take a scaling limit. Here is the, you get plots about the probability density function of the distances between uniformly chosen random points. Very good. This empowers really a series of papers over other aspects of random maps, the distance in random maps. And I mean, a way to summarize it is that in this series of papers, we are really computing quantities, observables, etc., results, quantitative results about what the modern terminology is Brownian geometry, etc. So here is a list of things that we did. But actually, this was also doing all this tour. We came back to the problem, the unsolved conjecture in our 2003 paper, and we noticed that the bijection led us to the theory of combinatorial theory again of continued fraction, which was developed by Flageolet and Viennot. So I won't have time to enter details. Maybe we'll hear about a bit of this talk tomorrow. But this is what we had on the slide. It's an idea of Emmanuel to summarize what we discovered. We look at there was a tip of the iceberg with some well-known generating function, the disk generating function. But what we uncovered is that below there was the continued fraction expansion, which involved the 2-point function. And we proved the formula. This was the first proof of our formula. Okay. What came next? How much time do I have? 10 minutes? Okay. 10, okay. You can always count 10. Okay. We can always count on friends to inspire us, and now here are our friends. Grégory again, and Jean-François Le Gall, who is also here. And what happened, it was in they wrote a paper in 2009, I think it was published in 2011, a paper about what happens to maps which are not Brownian in a sense, because they have very large face which survive in the continuum limit. So that was the title of our paper, and now in modern terminology, that's what people call the stable map. And what was especially nice about this paper is that it actually contained physics. And there was a very beautiful section 8, some motivation from physics, hidden at the end. It was like a little gem. And they dared to make a general conjecture or ideas about the connection between their problem and a problem of maps with coupled to statistical physics, which would be specifically the ON loop model on random planar triangulation. And their idea was not, it was still unfinished idea because it was not amenable to very specific computation, but by working with Emmanuel, we stumbled. We said, oh, okay, let's look at a variant of their construction, not exactly what they say. And here, now it seemed to be tractable. It seemed that we could perform enumeration. We would get to functional equation, which could be solved. And we were also lucky because we had as neighbor in Saclay, we have Bertrand Hénard, and Bertrand Hénard has a tradition of hiring a lot of very good students. We already heard about Sofiane Oukassi. And at the time, he had Gaëtan Borot, who was, by the way, working on different aspects of the ON loop model, but he was at ease with the computation, the difficult computation that we had, and so we embarked Gaëtan Borot. And what we did is that we wrote, we had this project on the series of papers on the ON loop model, and introduced, they defined a combinatorial approach to this model, which was the gasket decomposition, so-called the gasket decomposition, planar maps decorated with loops. And this way, we solve the model, and also we confirm the connection hinted by Jean-François and Grégory between the stable map and the loop model. After that, what did we do? We came back to bijections. There is also Eric Fusy with here, and we had a paper where we do the generalization of common generalization of the BG bijection and the Miermont bijection, which, by the way, has also been reintroduced in slightly different form by Jan Ambjörn and Timothy Budd, who is here also. And this was one paper, but also Eric at the time had a different collaboration with Olivier Bernardi, where they introduced. Okay, we have a zoo of bijection with trees, and they try to unify the picture by defining a unified approach. And we wanted to understand the results. We were looking at so-called map with Girth constraint. We tried to do that, and we tried a different approach. And then, just by we developed something which called now the formalist of slice decomposition. It was building on previous ideas, which we left in our papers on continued fraction. We didn't really exploit them at the time, but we saw that it was something powerful. It was a new approach to bijections between maps and other objects. And it's really the nice things about trees is that you can decompose them recursively. And with our idea, we can do the same with maps. We cut maps along some leftmost geodesics, and the slices are the building blocks, which admit a recursive decomposition. So for instance, here is a picture in a nice figure that, again, Emmanuel did in our paper, where we are gluing pieces. It's a bit abstract, so we have this abstract idea of that you have a slice, some people call them pizza slice, you glue together, you get something, and then you wrap, and then you get an object with a map. And actually, it was quite a non-trivial construction, because if you want to do the reverse construction, you need to go to, in this example, you need to understand things about the so-called universal cover of maps, etc. So it was also intricate geometry problem to understand this bijection. Okay, so we had a little pause for a few years because I moved to Lyon, and Emmanuel continued working with Eric Fusy. He restarted working with Philippe. He also had some papers on his own. And then what happened in 2009, I passed my, it took me a long time, but I passed my habilitation, and I looked back at what I looked on in the past and thinking about new direction. And then one of them was what we didn't do with slice decomposition. We would like to apply it to count maps of arbitrary topologies and maybe make a connection with the theory of topological recursion that Bertrand Hénard has been working on, etc. And we realized that the first problem to understand would be the case of maps of genus 0 with free boundaries, which you call colloquially pair of pants. And then I was in Lyon, so I first discussed with Gregory, and we started working on that, and then we stumbled on a problem. And then by chance, Emmanuel visited us to give a seminar in Lyon. And now we have a collaboration, the three of us together. It happened just before the 2020 lockdown, so this is what kept us busy during the lockdown. And what we did is that, okay, maybe I should not give too much details, but we really solved this problem of counting maps with free boundaries, and you have to find a clever decomposition of that into elementary pieces, which you can count, characterize precisely. So we had we had slice, and then we had to extend our zoo with so-called geodesic triangles, geodesic triangles. There is a recipe to glue them together, etc., and get back the thing. And the subtle point was to understand as I said previously, to understand the reverse bijection. And now we had to work on the universal cover of a sphere with 3 punctures. So I didn't know that much at the time, but it's a complicated beast. I think we have seen pictures in Philip's talk. There was a representation of this universal cover of a map, etc. And so, and thanks to Emmanuel, we are able to display them and to get an intuition on what it is. And that's. And now I think I'm going to the current situation nowadays. The collaboration with Emmanuel, Gregory, and myself is still going on. We have already 3 papers, and we still have regular discussions and ideas going on. We also, in 2023, Emmanuel gave a seminar at the Flageolet seminar in IHP, by the way. And after that, he was contacted by a young student called Hugo Manet. You can see him, maybe he was even younger on this picture, but he had a nice medal, but he's also in the room. And so the story goes on. We accepted to supervise his PhD thesis. So as you see, l'aventure Descartes continue, is not finished. And I will conclude by thanking you, Emmanuel, looking forward to still many years of collaboration. And this is the picture that we took. We did a remake of the picture of my PhD thesis, but it was last year at Philip's conference. Thank you.